Knowledge is power, but what if you can't read? Imagine you are a small child in India. You're in the 4th grade and your name is Anu. Your teacher presents this piece of paper and asks you to read it. Can you read this for me, please, Anu? No, she cannot. And the fact is, she's not alone. In today's world, 1 billion people on our planet cannot read. And research has proven that if you cannot read by the 4th grade, the chances of you ever catching up are practically zero. And so in the 4th grade, your entire destiny has been determined. You are now part of the illiterate population that directly contributes to unemployment, poverty, crime, and disease. No community feels this more than India, home to 1/6 of the world's population. And by 2020, half of the world's illiterate population will live in India.
So what is the solution to this problem? Well, we at Early Birds offered educational programs to empower mothers to prepare children before they enter the formal schooling system. And this really originates from all the research that says that the payoff on education decreases with time. So the best time to invest in children is in the early years, from ages 0 to 5. And education doesn't begin in school. It actually begins on the mother's knee at age 0. It begins when the mother sits with the child, talks to the child, plays with the child. And this might seem like a very simple solution, because it's said that talking and playing with your child for 15 minutes a day makes a difference and has a huge impact on the educational achievement of a child later on in life. And this is not even dependent on the literacy of the mother. So why would such a simple solution have such an impact? Well, we were surprised, and we actually spoke to some NGOs working in education in India, and we also surveyed about 20 mothers in India. And everyone had the same opinion that, okay, it may be effective, but nobody really knows about it. The early childhood education market in India is virtually nascent. And we as early movers will have the potential, and we will create a huge impact in the area. And so how do we go about implementing this simple solution? Well, we start by holding workshops for mothers and children. We start with really telling them how to interact. It's not just about 15 minutes of interaction. It's about 15 minutes of quality interaction every day. So we start with workshops in urban India. And for every workshop in urban India, and here is the real mantra, we hold 5 workshops in rural India. For every workshop in urban India, our cost model is such that we can hold 5 workshops in rural India for free. And with this, we can have a huge impact. And I'd like to take you through the business and financials of it as well.
Thank you. So, in order to get started, we need to consider 3 key components of our business model. First of all is the money. Second of all are the partners. And the third of all is the core of a product, the curriculum. So, I will talk about the money later. So, the first thing to do as soon as we have the seed investment is go and hire people. We will hire 2 specific types of characters. It's going to be experts and fellows. Experts are teachers and experienced psychologists with a proven track record in early child education. And fellows are young graduates from universities from all over India that want to contribute to their environment and are excited about helping rural India to improve. As soon as we have our employees, we can go on and prepare a curriculum. In order to do that, we want to partner with a company called iDiscovery, which is an Indian company that is specialized in developing curriculum for childhood education for every child bracket. And we've talked to them, and they would be more than happy to help us with that. And so as soon as we have the curriculum, as soon as we have the workshop, we can go on and start talking to companies. We want to offer our childhood education program to companies so that they can offer it to their employees as part of their employee development program, as part of their work-life balance program, or just as part of a publicity measure. And as soon as we have the first paying customer, we can go on to the rural areas and talk to our to rural Indians. And what we want to do, we don't want to go there without any infrastructure. We want to use the infrastructure that's already there. And India has over 1 million community centers that are spread all over villages in India. These community centers are called Anganwadis, and they are the key strategy for the Indian government to provide rural Indians with healthcare, with education, and with a lot of more community services that are necessary. And we want to go into these Anganwadis and partner with them, and that's what we're going to do. By the time our project is done, in 5 years, or after the first 5 years of our project, we will have impacted over 200,000 mothers. So that's the plan, that's what we want to do. So we set out and talked to companies, to organizations, and to the Anganwadis to ask them for feedback. And we received very, very positive feedback. So one of our first customers could be Ernst & Young, because they said that they would be very, very, very interested in such a solution for their employees. We also talked to the Anganwadis, and they said one of the key things they need is education. So they would be more than happy to partner with us. So we have a market, we have a demand, so we have a self-sustaining business. And actually, our business only requires $50,000 of seed funding plus $100,000 that we're going to get with short-term loans. And we have a break-even after 2 years. We'll be debt-free after 4 years. And after 5 years, we will already have profit of $900,000. So, to sum it all up, we want to create an environment where mothers can teach their children, where mothers can play with their children, can talk with their children, and can interact with their children. And we believe that this will create a huge societal impact, leading to less unemployment, better paid job, less expenses for healthcare, and a better society. And in total, we've calculated a wealth creation of $1.6 billion.
So $1.6 billion of wealth in the community. What does that mean? That means that because of early birds, 250,000 children in India will now be able to read. It means that because of early birds, the next time Anu's teacher presents this piece of paper, she'll be able to say, "My name is Anu." So let's create literacy in India today. Early birds will read the words.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. My question is if you're the team that is going to do this, how would your next 2 months look like?
Okay, well, we've already talked to a lot of players in this, and the good thing is that I've worked with a couple of these players. So I've been with Ernst & Young and iDiscover. And first we will start with registering the company and creating a website that would probably take about a month and a half. And then we will start working with iDiscovery, and they've already given us a very positive response. We will start with working the curriculum. We will also look into possibly hiring psychologists, and we'll look at creating this fellowship program that we want, wherein graduates are motivated to come into rural India and work. So we already have potential partners. We can partner with the University of Pune in India, and we've spoken to people across the chain. So now I guess we need the seed fund to get us started.
One piece of information I would like to share, that it takes around 29 days to start a business in India, to cover all the legalities issues, tax issues and everything. So as soon as we get the seed funding, we will be able to launch our first workshop within 60 days.
I have a question. Is early childhood education only problem in India, or is it related to other countries?
Well, the reports of UNESCO has shown that half of the world's illiterate population live in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and China. So I think India is a really good place to start, and Bangladesh and Pakistan are near, so we really have a lot of potential.
And I think it's not just about the developing countries, it's also about the developed countries, because there are a lot of children, there are a lot of mothers who don't have maybe these quality 15 minutes in their day, and I think this is the start that we start in India, but it could be developed and implemented everywhere in the world.
And the good thing about the business is that at this age, children all across the world are intuitively the same. So if we tailor a workshop in India, it's not that much of a problem because ultimately children everywhere are learning the same. So it's a very, very highly scalable model. Just that in India, it's a very nascent market, so it's an excellent place to start.
Thank you for your presentation. My concern would be that you basically want to create a very big network of scaling it up. And you're talking about changing of behavior of people. Have you made some preparations for that? Because to my knowledge, that is mostly the most difficult things. And you, like the others, have a lot of technology involved. And it's easy to program something and the computer's doing it, but people don't. That's the problem.
So one thing would you prefer me to address it for urban India first or rural India? How would you prefer it? Okay, well, in urban India we've already spoken to companies and it's a very niche, very small market that's growing rapidly, and I think that we will make a good entry, and urban India is a very aware place and a very global place. And in rural India, we've already spoken to 6 Anganwadis, that is the community centers. And what the Anganwadi workers say is they have a resistance to government programs because the governments just come and give them lectures. So we're not trying to do that. We will also aim at creating and identifying potential nodes in the community who the community can rally around later. And the acceptance level will be much higher if we go through these Anganwadis and through these women's centers because there are already existing modules in the community around which we can work. So I hope that answers your question.
And you're right, changing behavior of people is like the most difficult you can start with, but we were thinking about implementing mobile services, devices, whatever, and we came to the point where we realized this won't have such a big impact, and going there, getting it from the bottom up and not top down, so it's difficult, but we thought this would be the best thing with the highest impact.
So why do the existing community centers do not offer such a service?
So according to the UNICEF and the Government of India, when these Anganwadis and community centers started, it was mainly focused on nutrition. And the focus never really came to the radar of education. That being said, the Anganwadi workers are very, very receptive to any new projects that happen. I mean, it's not like they're reluctant workers over there. They're very, very powerful people in the community, and they're very, very active. So it hasn't been started because I suppose the government at the point of inception didn't say that, oh, we're going to focus on nutrition and education. They said we're going to focus on nutrition. So when the mission statement reads that way, it's difficult to, of course, permeate it to the bottom levels. So, yeah.
And also the traditional view is that the education starts at the age of 5 once they enter into the pre-existing education system. And there's new research coming out that early childhood education is much more important. And so by focusing not just on the nutrition of the child at that age, but also on fostering their education that early, it's a huge market for us.